Greetings, 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 Grand Rising. What the deal? What the deal? What the deal, man? This is Chief Kalinago with another great build, brothers and sisters. What it is, man, want to give thanks to the Great Spirit, want to give thanks to all my ancestors, I'm just so grateful, that they continue to use me as a vessel for the enlightenment of our people, you know what I mean? The growth of our people. And I'm honored. All right. I want to say, Sak Pase. Mabrikwa, Osio, Alito, Shalom, Aloha, all the greetings, you know what I mean? And to all the West Indian massive, you know what I mean? What the deal is, Wagwan. So let's get into this bill right here, man. Got a lot of great information to share with you guys. Once again, I really appreciate, love you. For those of you who celebrated the Christmas, man, listen, if that's your way of getting together with your family, do you, all right? Even if it's not part of our culture, but spending time with your family, there's nothing wrong with that. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of our people, you know, uh, you know, information is coming. We in the information age, and information is coming. And the more you get into the knowledge, the more you'll be enlightened, and the more you will purge those, those foreign things away from you and away from your home. So don't even stress it. All right, continue to just love your family and do what you got to do, right? Greetings, greetings, fam. All right, for the first few people that get on the live, I'm just gonna give you a shout out. You know what I mean? Give you a shout out. But I'm gonna share some information with you because I would like you guys to pull out a pen and a pad. So I'm gonna give you some time to pull out a pen and a pad because I have some great, great, great information. All right, that will assist you in your genealogy and again give you more of an understanding as to who we truly are. You know what I mean? Because we have to give irrefutable, okay, facts. When we present what we present, and I'm saying that not that we have anything to prove to anybody. All I'm just saying is when we make our claims, all right, nobody could refute what we are doing or what we are saying, because these natives out here playing games. You know what I mean? The $5 Indians, the Mongolians, you know what I mean? They're playing the games and they're coming at us really hard. So when we come, we gotta come hard. And that's what this is all about. You feel me? So I'm giving y'all information to seek your ancestry, your genealogy. So when we come in solid because they know the deal. You feel me? And they're here playing the games. But this is not about them. This is about us. They're gonna have one or two choices. It's either they're gonna join us, all right, or they gotta move out the way because we know they are not the original people. You feel we know that, and I'm gonna continuously give you information to solidify and validate the things that I'm saying. You feel me? Because a lot of our people are still not convinced yet, and I'm not in the business of convincing. However, I'm in the business of enlightening, giving you information, planting the seeds so that you could do your own research into your family, all right? And then, man, make the statement as to who you are, all right? So this is what this is all about, man. As a people, we got a lot of work to do, so let's get into this build. For those of you who want to support, the work that I do, support my channel, by all means, please do so. My Cash App is in the link below. I'm gonna share a video with you, all right? I saw an interview with Chief Langley, all right, and he was giving great information. Now, for once again, do your own research, all right? And the video is strictly for educational purposes. I don't have the ownership, all right, or copyright to their video or their audio. It's strictly for educational purposes, and I'm using their video and their audio, all right, because of the Fair Use Act, all right. So I just wanted to make that disclaimer, but at the same time, I have to give the information. Got to bring the educational information to our people. You did, all right. So with that being said, I'm going to share this information, and while I'm going through the video, I'm going to pause at certain times. We're going to break a few things down because some things I need to elaborate on. He did a great job, but I need to expound on what he's saying. You feel me? So if you guys are ready, man, listen, I'm excited. If you're ready, do me a favor. Take this video, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Instagram, any other platform that you have. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and share that information, man, because like I said, I'm super charged up right now. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm going to share the screen, family. Get your pen, get your pad. Let's do this. All right, let me share the screen right now, and we're going to make this happen. Let me just make sure that I'm going to check the YouTube on my phone, so we'll be on the same page. All right, we will be on the same page. Let me see right here. Click on that. There you go. We on the same page. We on the same page, family. We on the same. Man, listen, I love what I do, yo. I'm telling you, I love what I do. It's when you know your purpose and you have found your purpose, it's a beautiful thing. All right. Oh, by the way, sending positive energy to all the haters out there. All right. Y'all cannot stop this light from shining. So hopefully, some of my positive energy, my beautiful smile, could brighten up your day. You did, you know. Because I know a lot of y'all got some real bad-minded people. Your heart is really bad, but you know, I'm sending positive energy to you. You feel me? So hopefully I can shed a little light into your dark heart. Because I see y'all. I see y'all, them haters. All right? But y'all can't stop this though. Anyway, let's get into this. All right? I'm going to share the screen. Let me see. Share screen. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, share the screen. Boom, here we go. And let's get into this. So while I'm doing this, right, I would like you, not want to, I would love for you guys to take some notes. Because like I said, this is very important. It's going to help you trace a lot of your lineage, and you'll have more, or your ancestry, and you'll have more of a broader scope as to, man, what steps I need to take and what I need to do. It's very important. All right, so let's do this. Okay, this thing is buffering. Come on. That's one thing I don't like with this slow internet, man. It's like, come on, fam. Mm. You know what? The forces are not going to stop this, though. We're going to make it happen. All right, we're going to make it happen. So just let me see what's going on here. All right. Come on, man. This thing was playing all the time. All of a sudden, we're having this. But it's okay, though. We're going to work this out because that was sent to me in an inbox on Facebook. So I may have to go to the inbox and see what's going to happen here. All right, don't despair, family. Don't despair. All right. What I'm going to do for now, let me see something. Bring this here. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second, and then I'm going to get back to this because I don't know what's going on. All right, but let me just close this out for a second, and Mm-mm-mm. Give me a second here, guys. All right. This is not going to be stopped. I promise you that it's not. Okay. It's not going to be stopped. Like for real, for real, for real. Okay. So let me see this here. Um, okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you for being so understanding, you know what I mean? Because like I said, this was playing. I looked at the whole thing, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, I'm bringing it to the people. But it's okay though. We're gonna stay positive, and the information is gonna go out. I promise you that. So just give me a second here. Let me you know, refresh the browsers and everything and see if that's the issue. All right. But you're gonna get that information today. All right, one way or the other. I don't care if I have to end this live and do it again, but it's going down. Okay, it's going down. The information is too important. Too important. So just bear with me here. I'm just refreshing the browsers. I didn't want to do it, you know, through my Facebook inbox because, you know, I got people's, you know, profiles, you know, and I didn't want to just show people's profiles, you know what I mean, out of respect. But let me see if there's another way I could figure this out. Okay, where we at? Where we at? All right, here we go. I'm gonna try this again. All right, come on, fam. All right, volume up. Volume up. Okay, blow it up. Okay. All righty. Let me see. Share screen. Share screen. All right, it's playing now, family. Let's just see. Let's see what happens. Share the screen. Here we go. I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm not touching anything. All right. Hmm. Alrighty then. All right, just everything's gonna be all right, Chief. Just breathe. What's going on here now? Alrighty. Alrighty, man. I really didn't want to do this. I really didn't want to do this. Let me see. Is there another way how to do this? Is there another way? All right, let me What's going on with this? Man, it's like fuck. Bear with me, family. Bear with me. Bear with me, okay? Bear with me, please, please, please. It's not even, I don't think I have to restart the computer. I just know what's going on though, because I mean the internet is fine, because obviously now I'm browsing the internet, but it's like when I'm playing the video, it seemed like it keep looping. I don't know what's going on. I appreciate that, Empress. I appreciate that. I just hate stuff like that. Well, I'm not gonna say hate. I just don't like stuff like that happening. Because like I said, I'm excited, ready to go, and the forces, man, they keep pushing, but we're gonna make it happen. Okay. I mean, I could show it through my inbox, but like I said, I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to show people's, inboxes. You know what I mean? As a form of respect. But I'm thinking, if that's what I'm gonna have to do, I may have to do, man. But I really don't want to do that. You feel me? So let me see. Okay, 55. There we go.
So today.
Okay. I think I may have found a solution. I think. Give me 1 second. Play this here. Go here.
We are excited, Andrew.
So today,
I'm just going to do it like this.
Our beginning show is going to be about Native American research. And we are very, very fortunate to have a chief. His name is Chief Langley. And he is out of South Carolina. I met him through my beloved Sheila Hightower Allen. And we are really going to talk to him and learn more about Native American research. Hi, how are you, Chief?
I'm fine, and you?
That's good. I haven't seen you in a while. It's been a very long time.
I've been deployed in Afghanistan, so I'm a defense contractor.
Oh.
So I spend most of my time working over there.
Okay.
Well, we are really, really pleased to have you on the show. because Native American ancestry and genealogy is it's a big topic. I mean, we see it a lot of time on the various Facebook groups that we belong to, whether they're Native American in focus or not. And I think people just have a lot of questions about it. I know that I have a lot of questions for you in terms of developing tips and tricks and researching my own Native American ancestry.
Okay.
So I think we want to jump right into it. So you and I met through Sheila. And
yes.
You know, that was both of our hearts in one way or another.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I would always talk to you about is how I can find out. Like I think I talked to you about when I first started to realize that my senior line were Native Americans. That's what I was told, but I didn't know anything about it. So if you can like help people talk to them about how to go about researching their possible Native American ancestry. How would they, what's a good start for that?
First thing I would say, if you need to start studying it from the aspects of Pacific states. And let me give you an example. South Carolina has the best preserved records on slavery, and especially Native American slavery, than any other colony. If you are of the Negro or African American or Black or colored stock, if you are searching Native ancestry, you need to look within the heart of slavery. And in the heart of slavery is where those strong connections are tied after Columbus. Now, there are some other African ties pre-Columbus that I could talk about, but that goes a little more ancient. But studying the slave narratives and the colonial laws of South Carolina or the Carolinas, because inside the laws, it will tell you in South Carolina, if you read the Negro law, that both Africans, Indians, meaning also Indians from India, that are enslaved, they are not free, they are classed as Negroes. And most people think that Negro at that time had to do with color. That's not necessarily true. It had to do with a person who were enslaved, a human resource that was trafficked from Africa and the Americas and Asia. When you look at it from that perspective now, it's easy now to have a better understanding of what was going on. Most people try to just look, oh, my great-grandma was a Cherokee, or great-grandma. Well, in South Carolina, most people don't realize for 175 years, Cherokee was just a common word for saying you're Indian. So you got to be very careful. So what Indian are you talking about? And I have found through my studies and research that most people don't know what Pacific tribe and just says Indian. Now we got to have something to think about, because in the records, when you study the British East India and the British West India Company coming out of South Africa and crossing the Indian Ocean, because in South Africa, in Cape Town, you have the Indian Ocean on one side, the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. It's only a 2-week boat ride. Many of those folks are not being trafficked up in the West Africa and Ghana coming across. So when you study from that perspective, and in South Carolina, then you found 66,000 East India slaves came into the colonies. Now, why I'm telling you this, because when you look at the census and trying to find Indian ancestry, and it says Indian, and you're in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, you really need to think now, because that ancestor might be an East Asian that they call him that time, a Negro Asiatic that they call him at that time, or South Asian. I just want to clear this up before I get into the Native American factor, because now when we deal with the Native American factor, in Southeast, there were 2,000 ethnic groups of people. 2,000. That 2,000 got to be developed into 5 civilized tribes. Okay, if there are 5 civilized tribes, 1,995,000 other people are not civilized. So what happened to these people? They just didn't die off because of smallpox and diseases and war. There are millions and millions of people. But we have to look at, see, I examine history sometimes. Most times, I examine it from the writer. I need to know what is his conscience and what is he thinking. Because when the writers wrote about Indian and African people in those days, they're very biased, prejudiced, and racist in the writings. So a trapper would come up to a village and say, hey, there are only 200 people here, not realizing what time they came into the country. The people might have migrated to higher grounds or to the farming grounds, depending on if it was winter or summer. So if you found 200 people here, they recorded, oh, it was only 200 of this nation. We had a little scrimmage and we wiped them all out. Really? I never believed God just created 200 numbers of a certain race of people. So I don't follow that. Because if you go 5 or 10 miles down the road later on, you find these people again.
So it's more than 200.
Exactly. Now with black people, with black African American, colored, Negro people, again, we have to understand something here and now. And this is where a lot of people miss the boat. There's no 1619 for South Carolina and Georgia and North Carolina because of the Spanish. The Spanish came into South Carolina. The Spanish was there 250 years before the British. So what happened to those villages and those Native American people? So if you take from that time frame, if your ancestors were still here and they're native, if they converted to any religion, if it's Spanish, it's Catholicism, your ancestors now in the 1700s have Spanish names. Minute. Yeah, see? In the
Well, Chief, we're almost 15 minutes into the show. You have officially blown my mind. Now I understand why so many of us from Edgefield are getting those trace amounts of Southeast Asia and East Asia. Because honestly, we couldn't figure out why that was.
Yeah.
Well, since you said that, and I'm from the Edgefield area as well, I can give you a few more others. See, there's 2 Edgefields. And see, most people don't realize that. In my research, I have found Mongolians named Bubba Smith or John Roberts. Why? Because these particular Mongolians who were slaves fought in the Revolutionary and the Civil War. So when you go in the War Department documents, it tells you this particular individual came from Mongolia. But in South Carolina classed all Asians as black and colored on the census. So if you don't know where your ancestors come from, now you really, somebody walking around with what appeared to be Chinese eyes, you call them China man or China lady. These people got Asian ancestors.
That's why the lady made the comment that she made on the 56th. That's exactly why she said that. Wow.
Exactly. Now, when you go in South Carolina colonial records and go read the diaries of certain plantations families, you will find now, because most people think When I come up to the census and I try to find my people enslaved, all I find is a number. Well, that's just for tax purposes. I can honestly tell you, they didn't send people on a chopping block, on a slave auction block saying slave number 1, slave number 2, slave number 3. These people had names. And when you look at the slave registration will tell you, because they're selling people for product now, will tell you the genetic makeup of that particular ancestor.
So, Chief, there was something that I should have done at the very beginning, and that was tell them who you are. Like, who are you chief of? You know, what is the name of the tribe you come from? We didn't introduce that part.
True. And a little bit about how you even got onto this journey.
I'm from an ethnic group of Native Americans called Uchis. And it's also spelled Uchean. A lot of people think that we are Creeks. We're not, because we speak a different language. Now, when I was given this task, because I did not want it, my grandmother placed it in my hand. I'm an engineer. I'm a defense contractor. My degree is in electronic engineering and computer science. I have traveled over 87 foreign countries in the 53 years I've been living. I enjoy the travel. I love it. I did not want the responsibility of this. My grandmother said, no, you will do it. And your father, meaning my grandfather, because my grandparents raised me when I was 3 days old, we will be watching and guarding you from the other side. And the reason you are chosen, because you have the courage. You have the know-how. You will deal with this. I also had a great, which would be my grandmother's great-grand aunt, and Aunt Laura lived to be 114 years old. So when I was growing up, she was 100. But when I got off the school bus between the ages of 7, 8, 9, and 10, I had to go to Aunt Laura's house. She was right across the road from me. So I wasn't allowed to have dump trucks and all that stuff around Aunt Laura's house. No, we're going to sit down and talk. And when Aunt Laura would mentor to me, or lecture to me, it was an insult to her if I wrote anything down. She said, no, you're going to listen to me. You're going to put it in your head here, and no one's going to take it away from you. At the time, my Aunt Laura, remember, because this was in the 70s, my Aunt Laura remembered her mother telling her when Sherman came through, and Aunt Laura was a little girl around 2 or 3. So I got all that history from her, all of it. And what I did when I began, when I got older, started looking into the things that was told to me. So you got to remember now, in slavery times, they kept knowledge away. Certain people could only read and write. They created laws during Jim Crow years. You can't be an attorney, so you're not going to find out what's going on with the law. You can't be a police officer, so you're not going to find out. Okay? So a lot of the history that deals with Negro, Black, colored, and African American people comes from oral histories. Now, the key to that is that those oral histories is backed up by some facts. When I started digging into the archives, that's when I realized the Indians in the area that were enslaved, they classed as Negro people. So then I took time out, and you guys can do it too. If you go to the Harvard Institute and look up the social construct Negro, it will tell you a person that is nearly 1/16 African according to law.
So
So, go ahead.
I'm going to kind of roll back and just get really basic with my first question. So, as I said, you kind of blew my mind talking about how basically everyone who wasn't European was classed as Negro. So, if we're trying to do the research through the records, trying to figure out if our older generation of ancestors were actually African or came from Southeast Asia, East Asia, going up into Mongolia, how would you suggest people actually start digging into those distinctions?
Go into the plantation records for one. Read the inventory of the Pacific slave master. And in his slaves' bill of sale is where the origin of these people came from. Because many a times back then, they wasn't using the word African to describe where your people came from. If your people was Angola, they would say Angolan. If your people came from South Africa, they would say a bushman or bushwoman. If your people came from Ethiopia, you will find that. But I'm going to tell you something that's very significant. And I was working with one thing about Sheila. Sheila would push me. And I'm like, Sheila, it's 11 o'clock at night. Langley, I need this information. So we came across something that says Adamine. And this was a lady that was on one of the farms in Georgia, and her people came from Adamine. And that's what they called her, because when she ran away, they said, this particular negress. See, that's something else you got to look for now. When they're tracing women, is negress, not Negro. So this particular negress came from Adamine, which means she came from the Adamine Islands. And the Adamine Islands now is that isolated island that's off from India, where you see these very dark people with African-looking features with very straight hair. That particular slave came from there. Now, I'm not going to sound vulgar, but this is a very teaching moment, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. There is a tribe in Africa right now. In St. Simon's Island, Sheila and I and my buddy Harry Hillary, who was a Gullah that passed away, brought me a mystery to solve. There was a slave woman that was sold 2 times. Her name was Pussy. Growing up as a child, we think that's vulgar and something else. There's the Pussy people in Kenya today. So it's not vulgar. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys.
So really, it's about going back over records that you may have looked at 1,000 times and actually seeing them.
Exactly. You can't go back and see that word was twisted. That's where she came from. So now, to back it up even further, I went to Egypt over a year ago and met a woman traveling. On her passport, her first name was Vanessa, her last name was Pussy. I said, whoa. She said, what's wrong? I said, in my country. She said, see, that's a history you guys don't know. That word in Kenya, that particular tribe, those people are royalty. So look what the Western term they did with the word, and look how we look at it.
Right.
Finding that, you go ahead.
Was it pronounced the same way, or was it pronounced differently?
They pronounce it the same way, but they don't put the emphasis on it like they do here in America.
Okay.
So I've got a quick question for you as well.
Go ahead.
So you were talking about how you learned your family history in a very oral tradition. So keeping in mind European standards of genealogical best practice, how would you suggest that people put family lineages that are orally handed down into their tree, but to do it in a way that you can show that it's been sourced?
I will say those family lineages that have been passed down orally can be backed up by research. One, the slave narrative. There are 10,000 slave narratives. I've read 990 of them. Out of the 990 that I've read, 870 of them had Indian ancestry.
I'm thinking specifically of my community ancestry in Virginia before the Europeans even got here. So speaking to one of the tribal elders there, and he was able to rattle off of it at least 9 to 10 generations, one family line. He's like, now if you want to talk about these other families, I can put you in touch with other historians who can pretty much do what I just did with your family.
So I have
most black people, most people that can remain history like that and take you back generations, their family didn't go further north. And in South Carolina, they didn't go to Detroit. They didn't go to New York. They stayed. My family history goes back to 1555 when I start talking the native side, because those words of those people were passed down through my great-great-grand aunt. I didn't know what she was talking about. Now, let me share something else with you that you guys can do. There's something called the Slave Manifest. And the Slave Manifest are the ship records with slaves on them. Or I hate to say slave, enslaved people. But you will find that the color black isn't stuck, because we easily could have become called brown. I've seen hundreds of slaves classed as brown, gold, copper, black, pitch black, blue black, purple, almond, olive. By the way, olive is black if you look at the pure olive. It's dark. So you find these things in the Slave Manifest. But now there's different laws in the colonies governing African slaves and American slaves that are Indian but classed as Negroes. Dig this. If a Native American slave ran away, they branded them on the left side of the cheek. Africans are different. Those omega signs on the shoulders and on the hips. I understand the frat brothers want to get down with that, but they better look at the origin of these things. So that's where you find a lot of the African slaves. Brand on the shoulders and the hip, but on the cheek are the Native American slaves. Well, you say, well, Langley, how is that? Because that's one of the colonial codes that George Washington passed down, that they practiced on South Carolina plantation. So how is this possible? Because in the Revolutionary War, they created codes and said, okay, your slaves can go fight for you. So many of the white Southerners never fought in the Revolutionary War, nor the Civil War. They sent their slaves. Now these slaves are enlisted and have these marks on their cheeks. These are Native American slaves that are fighting in the Civil War. You have all of these records. You find these also in the muster rolls. You find these also in manumissions. You find these also in Revolutionary War paper. You find these also in land warrants and land grants, because most of our ancestors that inherited land and became free people of color came out of that Revolutionary War. Then they received 500 or 600 acres of land, depending on their meritorious medal of honor of whatever they did. They granted them those lands, and they held those lands until the Civil War and lost.
So another question I have is, if I were to find that I actually had ancestors that lived in territory that had been controlled by the Yuchi, and hopefully people can extrapolate what you're going to say to think about the states that they came from, what resources or repositories would you recommend people access?
When it comes to the Yuchi people, because it's a little different, there's something called the 1898 census taken of the 5 civilized tribes. In this particular census report is very unique because you're going to find out what Indian tribes that were in slavery at that time and how did they class these people. Now, for most Southern people, always want to go to Oklahoma. I'm sorry. If you come up out of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, you don't need to look for Oklahoma if you got any Indian ancestry. You need to look into the Seminoles because the Seminoles fought a 50-year war, and the Seminoles, many of them, well, let me stop for a second. Seminoles are no more than Native American slaves that ran away from the British and other Native American tribes. And in the process of that, Africans and Asian Indians, because this is in the records, went with them off them Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina plantations. Now, in the Seminole records, and not only in the Seminole records, and some census records in Georgia, but mostly in Florida. And South Carolina have a few, but mostly Florida. When you start researching around Jacksonville, you're going to find people listed as Indian Negro. Because those people were part Native American and part African. And in those censuses, I'm telling you, when you go start looking through the Seminole records, you are running now into thousands of people.
So we have a question from one of our viewers. She says, Tiffany Hutzman, she says, where do you search when you have 4th and 6th cousins who are enrolled Native, yet your immediate and closer DNA matches whose names have been changed, or you have no record, yet you have Native DNA showing up on your test? That makes sense?
That's a quick, tricky question, but I'm going to answer it the best way I know how. Enroll ancestors. Those relationships are based upon government roles. In other words, if you and I join a native nation today because we're living in that country and because we're in that country, just like the United States, we take a test and we get those rights, we become an American citizen. Although we can barely speak Chinese, American, but we speak full Chinese, or we speak some other African language. But in the midst of the United States now, recreate Chinatown. Okay? Many of the Native American towns were named after African people. Now, I'm gonna get to the point. Those relationships, and they're talking enrolled members, that's a social relationship. That has nothing to do with a necessity. See, you have Indians, then you have something called Indian countrymen. And Indian countrymen were Europeans or Africans that ran into Indian country, learned Indian languages, dressed like Indians, and became Indians of those nations. But they're not ethnically. So their DNA is going to stand with what it is, unless, and most of those at that time were men who were Indian traders and took on or cohabitated because laws prevented them from legally marrying Indian women, but they cohabitated with them. And because they cohabitated with them and married them, gave them perks to trade and statue in those nations. So a European or African could become a chief. Because that particular individual now can go communicate for us with the European or the African, either one, which doesn't matter. So when it comes to Oklahoma, and this is something a lot of people in the South, especially Black people, Negro and color, need to be very aware of. Most of those names are common names. They don't apply to you, especially when it comes to the Freeman Road. Now, people will say, well, how is that possible? Let me give you an example. My grandmother was born in 1912 in Stillwell, Georgia. There's a Stillwell, Oklahoma. 1912, Ruby Lee Roberts. I know good doggone well mama ain't never been in Oklahoma. So I'm not going to fly with that. But I'm going to tell you how my family continued to validate our ancestry, because in 1910, there was a special Indian census given throughout the United States, and especially the South. It lasted 3 years, from 1910 to 1913. Most people don't even know this exists. So when the census takers came back and wanted to document every single individual who had any native ancestry, because South Carolina, most people don't know, slavery didn't end in South Carolina until 1908. So you got all these people who are Native Americans and African walking around are not citizens. So go ahead.
Those two censuses that you just referenced, especially the 1910, are those available for people to see online? Can they access those?
Of course, you know where to access them. Yes, I have copies of them. The Special Indian Census of 1910 to 1913. Google it and watch what comes up.
So are there some of these, because that was another question up here, are a lot of these, where can any of these records be found on Ancestry? Because a lot of people have that, Ancestry has this whole conglomerate running.
I know, see, what you have to understand, I research history from an investigative perspective. I study genealogy from a forensics perspective. I don't know if Ancestry is going to give you that information, because Ancestry may be following some federal guidelines. And the federal guidelines is the only people in America who are Indian have to be federally recognized by these guidelines. And these are the roles, government roles, the Dawes, the Millers, various other roles that you need to comply by.
So then how would they find some of these records, that you're talking about?
Because now, like people needs to take the Negro approach that I call to research an ancestry. Go and read the records that I told you about, the slave narratives, the special census, because in the special census, it breaks it down to county, township, village. It also breaks it down to the person's name.
These things can be Googled.
Of course, yes, but I also have this information. That's something else Sheila pushed me with. We have them on the houseofancestry.org website. On that particular website, we have over 55,000 digital documents. And those documents concerns South Carolina mostly, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida.
What's the name of that again? Yeah, what's the name of that website again?
www.houseofancestry.org. Sheila was an educator. I'm a researcher. Sheila used to get on me about spelling. I said, Sheila, I got you handle that. I'm just finding this information. So Sheila started cataloging stuff and got me in the habit. Sheila is what forced me into public speaking.
Yeah, she tried me.
I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to know. She's like, no, because no one is going to tell this history the way you're going to tell it, because you are a product of this history. So let's work on your processes and your deliveries. That's what I've gotten. So to sum this up, the 1910 to 1913 Special Indian Census. One.
Thank you, Karen, for posting the link to that.
Because a lot of people in South Carolina at that time are not free, not until 1924. But let me tell you something that's very, very significant. Most people, another thing that's going to pop up. My ancestors now, in 1920, are listed now as Mexicans. So we go from Indian to Mexican, mulatto. Now, my Yuchin oldest ancestor that we know of, Mariah, because she was on the Special Indian Census of 1910 to 1913. But when they go now and list her, because you got to pay very close attention to this, her color is listed as Black. Her race is listed as Amiri Indian. This is back in the 1900s. It didn't say American, it said Amiri Indian. Now, what most of us do, we really don't pay attention to words that when we see them, we just assume. So I would recommend anybody who had ancestors living at that time, because my great-great-great-grandmother, Mariah, lived to be 100. Many a times on the census from 1860, 1870, 1880, they're going to ask you question, what is the color? They ain't say nothing about ethnicity. Because my great-great-grandmother couldn't speak English, couldn't write it. So what are the languages that many of those people speaking now coming up out of slavery? They're not speaking English. They're still speaking their native languages. You really don't need to know English to be a slave. You know how to pick cotton and corn and rice and everything else. There are families like this, but institutionalized learning don't give us this type of history. You have to go get that from the scholars and the writers who have been in the pits researching this.
So taking this to the most basic level for a lot of new genealogists or people who are new to research. So if I wanted to get a sense of, or if I wanted to learn more about Native American tribes in a specific area, would you suggest more looking at local resources, regional resources, and state?
Look in the state archives, but let me, because I'm looking at you, and I need to give you and Donna something that's very significant here about Edgefield. Listen to me very carefully when I say this. Over 10 years ago, in the South Carolina archives, I stumbled across a document. It startled me. It wasn't until 12 years later, I had an eyewitness account. But this is what happened. In 1834, in the old 96 district in Edgefield. Now, what you got to understand, the Edgefield of yesterday is not the same Edgefield today because the area was more broader. That's like Civil Bluff. There are two Civil Bluffs. Civil Bluff expanded over 46,000 acres. Most people don't even know this. They're just going by what a lot of European writers wrote. And one thing you have to not pay attention to sometimes, historical markers, because they might not be accurate. Now, this is what I'm going to tell y'all about Edgefield. It's very significant. Listen carefully. In that document, it says there were 700 Egyptians and Indians in this community. When we tax them, yes, listen to me carefully. When we tax them and they become citizens, they will be known as coloreds, free coloreds, or free blacks, or something they call mezizos, M-E-Z-I-T-O. Now, listen to me carefully. I went to Egypt a year ago. Well, prior to that, stop. Let me give you another little factor. My great-grandmother's first cousin, daughter, which will make him my third cousin, son took a DNA test. Now, his father is half European. We understand that. But his DNA came back, and he took a test with Ancestry. 40% Egyptian, 20% Native American. So we're like, whoa. So I talked to my uncles. So you know what? It's time to dispatch the Yuchi. So I went to Egypt. Listen to me when I tell you this, because there's 2 times the ancient Egyptians came into America. So I went to Cairo, but where I needed to go was Luxor and Aswan. As I'm coming through immigrations, the Egyptians in Cairo asked me for an Egyptian passport. I'm not Egyptian. Somebody in your family came from here because there are people in Luxor and Aswan look just like you. I'm like, no. I ain't trying, no. So I'm saying no, and these guys are getting frustrated because they're serious now, and they have me pulled aside in immigration. So I got to pull out all my government ID now because it's gotten serious, and they don't call security. I'm not. The guy said, okay. He said, young man, there were 2. There was an older one, there was a younger one. The young one said, bro, you need to go to Aswan. I'm thinking, bro, there's a word we only use in America. That's a common word over there for young brother in Egypt. I'm like, man, we grew up using that word. I'm listening to everything now. So the next day, I book a flight, and I don't fly for 2 days down south because it's 800 miles. So I fly into Luxor. The minute I get off the plane, some spiritual, supernatural, metaphysical stuff started happening. My chest rises up. Whoa, what's going on? I catch a cab, go to the hotel. I go in the hotel, I'm walking to the desk, everybody's looking at me. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I got some toilet tissue or something on my shoe or something. Somebody just kicked me in the back or something. And the guy went at the front desk, said, hey, check in. He said, I need you to see the manager. The manager comes out. My back is turned. He grabs me on the shoulder. The chills come before I turn around. When I turn around, I see the same guy who could pass for my great-grandfather's brother. They look so much alike. And he said to me, where are you from in America? Are you from the Carolina, South Carolina? I'm like, whoa, me and him didn't have this conversation. He said, we had people that was taken from here in the mid-1700s and sent to the Carolinas. to grow cotton.
That's an awesome story. That's an awesome story. Chick, you have like just really done so much, and I wish we could continue our talk. Maybe we'll have you back on the show again. You know, we're gonna have you back, or not maybe. We're gonna have you back on the show for certain. And but we're like 5 minutes out. I just want to thank you so much for, you know, being our first show and just giving us this history and talking to us the way that you have. It's just been awesome. Because there's still more questions. There's just a lot more.
I have the House of Ancestry Facebook groups. I'm on vacation for 60 days, so I'm going to be home until October. And I do a few online lectures myself. But if they join the House of Ancestry Grassroots Genealogical Society on Facebook, they can connect with me. We have genealogical conference calls every Thursday night between 8 and 9. And I put that information out. And I go into details and I discuss all of these things. But I'm going to let you guys know, this is very important. You come out of Israel, you are looking at Nubians and Native Americans and some Scottish and German. In that particular area. I'm telling you now, because I've already been to Egypt. I confirmed that. I have that information, but I have a lot more other information on the settlements of the Scots and the Germans and the Africans, Native Americans, because in that lower Savannah River district, they had little separated villages because they were taxing people differently, and whatever your necessity was is how you was being taxed. That's how a lot of these mixed race communities come about.
So what I would like for you to do is send me the link of the House of Ancestry so that later on we can repost it onto our, because this is also streaming on Facebook as well as the internet radio station. And if you send me that link, I'll be able to put it on the comment section so everybody can have it, and then they'll be able to get in and, you know, talk on House of Ancestry. But thank you once again.
Thank you so much. You have blown my mind in the best way possible.
Yeah, yes. We will definitely have you back on the show.
Okay. All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So sorry, Tiffany.
All right, man.
I did ask a question about rejected applications.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? Give me a second here. Let me just stop this.
Once those applications.
All right. What I'm gonna do here, family, is man, I hope you guys enjoy this, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a recap of the information, right? We're gonna go through a few things. Also, what I did was I got the link for the special 1910 census that he spoke of, and we're just gonna share the screen real quick, and I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna also take that and put that in the link in the chat, so you could have access to that. So I just put it in there for you guys. But I'm gonna share the screen, and then we're just gonna do a few clicks to let you know that you could go through the 1910 special, all right, census, okay? But we're gonna recap. Let me just share the screen real quick, okay? Share screen. Let's go here. So this is the site right here, the United States Census, okay? 1910 Indian population in the United States and Alaska. All right, so they have all the links below. What I did was I actually make sure you guys download it, because you know once we start getting hit and we start getting that kind of information, all of a sudden it disappears from the internet. So I downloaded all the PDFs. So I just put the link in the description below and in the chat, so you guys could go take a look at it. But just to click on the link, so you know that they're clickable PDFs. All right, and you have that to your at your disposal. All right, or you have access to it rather. All right. So that's, I'm not going to click on every link, but Indian population in the United States. And then, like, you know, the chief was saying, you know, that's some information, like, man, pertinent, you know, I mean, information that we need. All right. And it will go into it, and it will it speak about, Negro and Indian mixed blood. You have Indian population of the United States. You have Indian tribes by states. Man, it's just, like I said, a lot of information, man. It's a few links in there. So make sure you guys get that information. They have, let me see how many PDFs. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have 5 PDFs. Okay. I got those, and I'm definitely saving that. You feel what I'm saying? So, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a recap, and we're gonna go over everything that the chief spoke about. All right, we're gonna do a recap. Okay, so we're gonna start from the beginning, and once again, for those of you who wish, to support, by all means, show your love. I truly appreciate that. Like I said, I do this because I have a love for us. I'm saying? That's my passion, and we as a people, we have to get away from all the myths that are being told, the lies, all right? Because our history, our story is written and is hidden in his story. But we, like the chief said, you have to go and look for your story, all right? They're not just going to give it to you. You got to do your own due diligence. You see what I'm saying? So here you go for those of you who want to support, all right? Now, what I'm gonna do is, what you could do is, family, for the Facebook link, you're probably gonna have to look at the video again and get it. So I'm just going through a few things. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna start from the beginning of breaking some things down, right? So so he also mentioned that a lot of our ancestors lost. They had land, right? They have their land, but a lot of them lost their land through the civil rights. Now, I'm going to break down things now from my perspective. Like I always tell people, right? When I read books, you have to go into the mind of the author, and you have to go into the era, the time that that book was being written, because it definitely means something different in that time. So when a lot of these people come with the information, I'm like, listen, man, what was in the writer's mind? That's coming from a perspective, okay? Facts is based on people's interpretation. You did. Vintage point. 4 people could see an accident from different angles. Okay, the same accident, and give you a different description of the accident because they were looking at it from a different vintage point. What was the mindset? What was the mindset of the people who were writing at that time? And different words were called different things. So yes, our ancestors were here. We didn't come here as slaves. We became enslaved in our land. We became prisoners of war in our land. Okay? So, all right. So here we go. So a lot of them lost their land through the civil rights because now the transition was taking place from allodial titles, okay, to it being original indigenous, to wanting to assimilate into the westernized culture, the United States. So that was dealing with the civil rights, okay, because a lot of these Caucasians at that time were fighting for civil rights, and our people always got mixed in. All right, so you have to keep that in mind. Now, he also spoke about the 1890 census of the 5 civilized tribes. Like I told y'all before, the 5 civilized tribes, and we'll discuss that when we get there. But he also broke that down. Okay, those tribes, they are not by necessity, and he keep using that word. I don't know if you missed that, but necessity is equivalent, or it equates to ethnicity. Okay, so a lot of those tribes were created by the federal government through association. And how did I prove that? I proved that when I called the Cherokee Nation. Okay, what did he tell you? Oh, well, we have treaties with the United States. They don't do it by blood quantum, because they can't. If they do that, then the fraud will be exposed. All right, and he also talked about, well, some of the tribes were civilized. Well, what happened to the millions that were uncivilized? Like I told you, an example of an uncivilized Indian right here. They would have called me that because I wouldn't want to be part of the 5 civilized tribes. So we're going to break a few things down, like I said. Now, North Carolina, South Carolina, those were the Seminoles. All right. He also spoke of the Seminoles, meaning that the Seminoles were Native American slaves who ran away. For example, when they speak of the Maroons are indigenous Aboriginal Americans, but they fought, they ran away. So they gave them a name for that. So those who ran away, they named them Seminoles. Okay? They named them Seminoles. A lot of people are saying, well, Seminoles are Africans. No, they are not. They are runaway indigenous Aboriginal Americans who freed themselves. So they call them the Seminoles. Now, when they ran away, most of them moved to Florida. All right? You have Asian Indians and African Indians with them. Pay attention. Okay? Pay attention. You didn't just have American Indians. You have East Indians, and some East Indians were considered African Indians. All right? We are breaking this down. All right? Now you have the government roles. The government roles created organizations such as the Cherokee Nation. Well, Chief, how can you validate that? Go back and look at the video when I interviewed that Cherokee man. He spilled the truth. Okay? Those were organizations and tribes that was created through the government roles, all right, to disenfranchise the Aboriginals, to keep us out of the loop. Okay? And those created what? A new identity through new treaties. That's how we were able to be taken out of, again, the loop as to, well, getting land, being autonomous, being sovereign, having our own governments. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? Once again, he reiterated, which we already know, enrolled members was a social relationship and not by necessity, meaning that not by your blood, not by your ethnicity. So that's when the corporations was taking over, all right, and calling themselves American Indian tribes. So I don't need to be federally recognized to be part of a fake, made-up Indian tribe. The Cherokee is not a real Indian clan, okay? It is not. All right, keep that in mind. It is not. It is an organization that was set up for people who just call themselves Indians. Remember what he said? Cherokee just meant Indian. It didn't specify your ethnicity, okay? Such as Anianwea is your ethnicity, okay? Cherokee is just a broad word to say, well, that's just Indian. That's why you find so many people, everybody, oh, well, I'm Cherokee, I'm Cherokee, I'm Cherokee. It was just another code word in that time for saying that you're an Indian. But it is not your, you see, it is not your necessity or your ethnicity, okay? The original name is actually Anianwea, the principal people, the leading people, okay? Let's keep that in mind. So some of them did become Indians, all right, through social means, all right? But they were not ethnically, all right, American Indians, all right? Now you had European or Africans who became chiefs through what? Through marriage. Through marriage. So when you go on the censuses, you may even see Moors as Indian because they mixed in with the people. It doesn't mean that they're Aboriginals, okay? They had classifications. So they would be considered what? A Moor Indian or an African Indian or even a European Indian, okay? So a lot of them like to use these little things that they find, but you see, I know the spiel, I know the deal. So I know how to debunk all of that. Our people did not call themselves Moors. From the very inception, there were what? Over 2,000 ethnic groups. And these ethnic groups spoke different dialects. You see what I'm saying? They spoke different dialects. So how could all of them just say, well, let me just use one word to call ourselves that? Man, that's crazy. But I'm not even going to get into that. All right. But the name is the original name is called Anianwea. And thank you, Onyx, for spelling that out. All right. So here we go. So a lot of them again became affiliated with original people through marriage, the marriage of our women. Once again, go back to the video of that Cherokee Nation that I interviewed the man. He said, what? If my grandmother permed her hair, she would look like a black woman in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's because the original Indians were the American Aboriginals, us. Okay? Now, he spoke of the 1910 to the 1913 Special Indian Census, which I just showed you guys, and I put that in the link. So by all means, you could definitely go ahead and get that information. All right? You was looking for the spelling of the original name of Cherokee. There it is. All right? Now, when it comes to Ancestry.com and the likes of 23andMe, okay, all this, what you call mainstream DNA sites, okay, once again, they may be following federal guidelines, all right, that created the government roles and the Miller's roles, etc. That's another way. They used that to keep the original people out. Once again, go listen to that video. That video that when I call that Cherokee Nation, that's a gold mine. That's a gold mine. So when they created that Dawes Rolls, if you're not on the Dawes Rolls, okay, then you cannot be recognized as what? One of the federally recognized tribes. You dig what I'm saying? So pay attention to what was going on. All right. So he's saying that when you're doing your genealogy search, do it from a Negro perspective, because the Negro held weight, because the Negro was the American Indian. Okay? The Moors were not the Negro. Well, Chief, how can you prove that? Go look at the Moor Sundry Act. They were fighting not to be the Negroes. That's how they had to create the Moor Sundry Act, so that they could differentiate themselves from the Negroes. Okay? So don't knock the Negro too hard. That was another breadcrumb to connect us back to our original roots. You dig? So trace your lineage from a Negro perspective. You dig? Keep that in mind as well. All right. Now, the website they have is www.houseofancestry.org. Let me put that in there for you. Okay. Let me just put that in there for you. www.houseofancestry.org. Okay, I just put that in the link for you. Go check that out. houseofancestry.org. That's their website. That's his website. And you could get some more information on there as well. All right. Now, we know that he said that people in South Carolina were not free until 1924. And also in 1924 was the Indian Citizen Act. All right. When they made all the Indians United States citizens. You feel me? But because there's a provision that's in there, it says that, yes, we are making you a citizen, provided that it doesn't affect or impair your way of life, meaning that it doesn't impair you being an American Indian. But it did. So therefore, by default, we are not United States citizens. You did. All right? What else? All right, so we go. So he spoke of his grandmother, all right, in her records. Her color, they put as black. Her color, they put as black, but we know we are not black. And that's how they had to take away our identity by these false labels, making us crayons in a box, all right? But her color was black, but her race wasn't black. I keep telling people, black is not a race. It's not a color either. So anyone on the internet on here, like I told y'all before, y'all subscribe to on the internet calling y'all black, they are an enemy of the indigenous Aboriginal American. Okay? But her race was what? Amerindian. It wasn't American Indian. Remember I told y'all before, when I grew up in school, in the islands, in Dominica, they didn't teach me that I was an American Indian. They didn't teach us we were Africans. They told us that we were Amerindians. They're two separate words, and they put it together, Amerindian. Okay? And he just validated that. He said his grandmother's race was what? Amerindian. Okay? Amerindian. And then they separated and say American Indian. but it's essentially the same thing. It's interchangeable. All right. So the necessity is the ethnicity. You dig? Keep that in mind. Now he also spoke about a certain village where they had over 700 Indians and Egyptians, and they literally changed their identity to colored and or black, and they were called the Mezito, Mezito. Now I wanted to touch that a little bit. What he may not be aware is that the Indian and the Egyptians are essentially part of the same bloodline. Okay? All right. Now he said in ancient times, 2 ancient Egyptians came into the Americas. What he's missing is that this is the original Egypt. So when he went over there and they said, well, bro, you look like us. That bro didn't come from over there. That bro is a language in Ebonics right here in the Americas, where the original Egyptians came from. You feel me? So I just wanted to point that out. All right. Now, when he said when you go to a place called Edgefield, all right, you'll see Nubians, American Indians, Scots, and Germans. Like I told y'all before, the Germans, the Scots, and the Irish came here and they were all dark skinned. You feel what I'm saying? So you have to keep that. You have to keep that in mind. Those people came here and mixed in with us. King George was a German. Okay? King George, who set up the colony of Georgia, was a German, but he was dark skinned. King James was from Scotland, but he was dark skinned. They came here, they were the original nobles who came here and set up the 13 colonies. You see what I'm saying? All right? So keep that in mind. So he's definitely connecting a lot of his people, like I said, to people who came here. All right? I could clearly hear that in his voice because he was emphasizing that to the point where he even think that the Egyptians came from the other side. But the original Egypt was here. All right? The original Egypt was here. And he spoke about the tax. You were taxed based on or by your necessity, which is your ethnicity. Okay? The Aboriginal people were not taxed. That's why in the Constitution, you have Indian not taxed. And I broke that down already. But taxes were for other ethnic groups, not for the original people. Okay? So I just wanted to kind of like break that down for y'all. All right? And I hope, you guys enjoy that build. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to kind of go, through a few things so that we have a true understanding of that. You see what I'm saying? Because like I said, yes, there was a lot of, valid information and hey, pertinent information that he gave, but that's why I had to do a recap, okay, and kind of go over things and put more things in perspective. Okay? The original Egyptians are from here. We're talking about the Yucatan, even parts of, Illinois. We're talking about Mississippi, and all that's part of Egypt. You did? So when he went to Egypt and Luxor on the other side, and they said, bro, welcome home. You see what I'm saying? That's a universal language. That's a universal thing between Aboriginals. So he thinking that they came from over there when the truth of the matter is they were already here. All right. And they just went on the other side and created another civilization. All right. Which they already knew. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out. All right. Now, just to validate some of what the chief was saying, I'm going to show y'all something which I've already shown you guys. All right. I tell folks like this, when you deal with the mainstream, and then he also validated that, okay? When you deal with the mainstream DNA places, okay, they go by the guidelines, all right? They go by the guidelines of the federal government. That's what they do because they're all in cahoots. Remember, their goal is to make sure that the Aboriginal American, okay, don't step up into their rightful place. So they have to put mechanisms, all right, to prevent us from doing that. So when you deal with this mainstream DNA places, okay, it's already set up that they're going to put you in Africa. That's already set up. They're going to put you in sub-Sahara. But you see, once again, it's the truth, but it's not the truth. And I broke that down before, because sub means under, beneath, and Sahara means desert. So how can you be under the desert? So when you go look at the map, you will see that under the desert, sub-Sahara is actually in the Americas. So they are telling you the truth, but they are not telling you the truth. Also, he spoke of when he looked at that's page 2, and so I got to go to page 1 now. Okay, when we okay, so we go to page 2 here, right? So I did page 2 and 1, so we still have some more notes. Okay, he also spoke of the Mongolian slaves. Yes, Mongolians were slaves, all right, in the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. South Carolina classed all Asians as black and colored on the census, because black and colored just meant at that time you were a slave. It doesn't matter what your ethnicity was. Okay, all right. Now, a lot of those ethnic groups, they were identified by their dialects or languages. So once again, how could we all have been one thing that these invaders coming here telling us that we are? Like I said, stop playing the games. Okay. Also, Indians were considered what? That's why he's saying, you know what? He's advocating when you're doing your genealogy search, go through the process of, or the route of doing it as a Negro. Okay. The social construct of the Negro, when you look in the Harvard Institute, which I'm gonna take a trip, okay, and I'm gonna verify that myself, because I like to do things myself. That's why I always ask for your support if you're willing to support, all right? But either way, I'm gonna do it, okay? Even if I have to do it myself. The social construct of the Negro, according to the Law Harvard Institute, is only 1/16 African. So that means you're nothing but American Aboriginal. You may be mixed, the Negro may be mixed with only 1/16 of African. So the African American, the Negro, okay, is only 1/16 African. The other 15/16 is American Aboriginal. Okay? And that's in the Harvard Law Institute. Like I said, all our information is hidden. All right? Also, you have to look at plantation records. Look at the inventories, right? Look at the bill of sale. All those are ways that you could trace your genealogy. All right? Plantation records, inventories, and also the bill of sale. All right? Now, he said back in the days, they didn't use Africa. So how all of a sudden we all Africans? He clearly stated that if you're from South Africa, you was a bushman and a bushwoman. If you were from Ethiopia, it would have stated that on your records. Okay? And they also had the Negro man and the Negress. Okay? The man was called Negro and the Negress was woman. And he also spoke of a tribe in Africa called the P-U-S-S-Y. You know what I'm saying? Some of you probably came from the P-U-S-S-Y tribe. No disrespect. That's an actual tribe in Kenya. All right. So here we go. Also, there's also 10,000 slave narratives that exist. So how come y'all only go by roots? Roots is just another narrative. Okay. Roots is just another narrative. And he said out of the 10,000 narratives, he has literally read over 1,000 of them. And out of that 1,000, over 900 and something, the black so-called colored or Negro is an American Aboriginal. I don't know if y'all peeped that. Man, I keep telling y'all, man, some things are priceless. I'm giving you something that's priceless today. All right. So you can look at the slave manifest where you'll see, color, the slaves, they call their color black. All right. But black didn't stick. Okay. So it changed to brown, copper, almond, olive, which is not black, it is dark brown, but he said black, but we know better than that. All right. And the different laws, okay, different colonies had different laws to govern the American Indian and the African slaves, all right? But they all lumped them as Negroes, okay? So my question to all these so-called natives trying to tell us, oh, well, y'all, culture vultures and y'all taking our identity. How is that they were able to mix real Africans with American Indians and not tell the difference? But y'all pale as day. Come on, man. Come on. But we ain't got to get into that because y'all going to be exposed. All right? Trust me. They got the records. We coming. The American Aborigine, we coming. All right? And he also spoke about branding. Branding Indians. The Indians were branded on their left cheek or on their cheek, and the Africans were branded on their shoulders. All right? So keep that in mind. All right? And that was instituted by George Washington. All right? And the rolls, you have the muster rolls, the Revolutionary War papers, you have the land warrants and the land grants. All those are some of the things that are the records that you could look into when you're doing your genealogy. All right. Now he said, study when you study and you go to the specific states and your local state, but primarily South Carolina, especially the native Negro, okay, and the African American colored is the heart of slavery. So there you would have to go and find a lot of your information, okay. And then we have the Negro law. Indians from India were also called Negroes. All right. Negro did not deal with color. All right. It was just a slave per se. It was a human resource. So at that time, when they call you a Negro, you were just capital. You feel what I'm saying? It was just capital. That's all it meant. All right. Now, at that time, a Negro was considered to be, could have been classified as an African slave, an American slave, or an Asian slave, which is an Asiatic. Okay, which is Asia, all right? Cherokee, South Carolina, for 175 years just meant, at that time, it just meant Indian. Cherokee, all right? At that time, for 175 years just meant Indian. So be very mindful when you say, oh, well, I'm just Cherokee. Well, what clan? What is the necessity? What's the ethnicity? So remember, that ethnicity is Anion-Wea. All right, peep the game. I'm just clarifying things for y'all. All right, but you also had the British East Indian. You had the British West Indian. Once again, in the islands, they call us West Indians. All right, original, Aboriginal American. You feel me? You don't know. All right. Now you had 66,000 East Indian slaves came into the country. What's called the East Indian Negro, which is the Asiatic. Now, who are the people going around saying the Asiatics? Oh, well, the original man is the Asiatic. Who? The Moors. So 66,000 Moors came in, East Indians, as slaves, all right? And they were Asiatic. They were the Moors. So you will see some Moors that say Indian. It doesn't necessarily mean they were American Indian. No, they were East Indians, the Asiatic. So when people are playing all this semantics, man, I don't play that. I come with the facts. So when they come to me, they got to come correct. Okay? You got to come correct. All right? You also had, which I said in the beginning, you had 2,000 groups of 2,000 ethnic groups of people that kind of got involved in the 5 civilized tribes. All right? So once again, you also had the others who were not civilized. So a lot of our people didn't get caught up in that. All right? And he of course, he reiterated, when you're reading books, you have to look at it from the writer's perspective. All right? And before, there was no 1619 for the South Carolina, because remember, 250 years before the British came. And when they say the British, remember who they are talking about. They're not talking about the Caucasian man. They're talking about the Blackamoors. Before they came, all right, we were already dealing with the Spanish Moors, okay, for over 250 years that enslaved our ancestors. So when y'all want to drop, I'm giving y'all the facts. All right? I'm giving y'all the facts. You feel me? And that's it in a nutshell. All right? Now, let me just put the nail on the coffin for all the haters out there, because I know y'all out there hating on Chief Kalinago, but y'all cannot stop me, man. I'm like thunder, lightning, the light, the sun. I'm coming. I'm all of that. You feel me? Here I am again going to validate everything the brother was talking about. Because like I told y'all before, a lot of people, oh, well, I don't want to do DNA. They're going to do my blood, take my blood. If you was born in a hospital, they got your DNA. If you ever got arrested, they got your DNA. If you have ever been to a hospital, did any blood work, they got your DNA. So what are you talking about? They got it already, fam. I'm not saying do the mainstream ones. I'm not saying that. But you could go to private genealogists and do a private DNA test. You feel me? And to solidify your facts, because you got a lot of haters out there, man. So once again, let me just put that nail in that coffin to slap y'all in the faces for all you haters. Once again, all right? And that's going to validate everything that I've been talking about from day one. Boom. Chief Kalinago, American Indian, private DNA test for all you haters. So go sit down on the bumbo red, all right? When y'all talking and y'all don't know what, y'all just want to hate, but y'all going to learn. One thing I got to keep telling y'all is this. Don't burn no bridges, because y'all may have to come back and run through me. You feel me? So be careful when y'all come at me, all right? Once again, Chief Kalinago Flying Eagle Akhenaten, and I'll show you why it's Akhenaten in a minute. I keep telling y'all, I know who I am. That's why this energy is so confident, and y'all think it's cockiness. No, it's not. I just know who the hell I am. All right? Period. Point blank. Private DNA test. Come back conclusively. A natural born original. 1, 2, 1. All right? And I could verify that again. Now, let me show you what the chief was talking about the Egyptian and the connection. That's in my DNA on both my mother and my father's side. Boom! To all you haters, Chief Kalinago, direct descendant of Akhenaten. So to all you frauds that want to talk about, oh, well, Chief is this and Chief is that, he's Nigerian. Look it right here in your faces. Original Egyptian. So when y'all come, y'all better come correct. All right? Y'all better come correct, man. Show some respect to the God. And trust me, a lot of y'all gonna meet some suits, some lawsuits for defamation and slandering. Oh, I'm coming. 2020, you're gonna have some serious problems. Some serious problems. Chief Kalinago is coming. The baby oil chief, like y'all say, is coming. I'm coming. All right? So when y'all talking, I know who I am. That's in my blood, in my DNA. So y'all cannot take it away. So show some respect. Put some respect on my name, or else I'm going to make sure y'all respect it. Because them legal suits is coming, and y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay? I just told y'all I'm Ani and we. I'm Ani and we on Kalinago. All right? But just know that I'm a direct descendant of the pharaohs. Okay? That's a real descendant right here. A real one. It's in my DNA, both on my parents' side. I was told they had to get married and keep our bloodline so we could keep it pure. So y'all better recognize. All right? And I'm going to end on that note. So when y'all talking and y'all don't know who y'all dealing with, y'all want to come with all the hating and, man, listen, man, y'all going to learn. I keep telling y'all going to learn who Chief Kalinago is, because y'all going to have to come back. And when y'all come back, it's going to be some problems. Okay? It's going to be some problems. I got my email in the link below. If you would like that information, just send me an email and I'll send you the information, because, you know, ain't nobody paying me to promote nothing for them. So, you know, I'll just, you know, send it to you privately. So my email is in the link below, and I could send you the information where I got my private DNA done. And I'll show you exactly what to do. All right? For real. All right? But here's the, like I said, the original Egypt was here. Okay? The original Egypt was here. Kemet was set up from the original Egyptians. That is still our people. All right? That is still our people. People don't realize that. This is still our people. It is still our people. A lot of y'all keep hating on Africans. A lot of Africans are actually our people because they came from here. Y'all got to get that. Okay? They came from here. Man, y'all got to know what's going on, man. Y'all got to know. Your blood don't lie. Your DNA don't lie. Okay, it don't lie. Because when I did my private DNA test, out of all the population in the world, it came back and it said what? You are conclusively an American Indian out of all the world population. So how is that possible? So if your blood is speaking from the soil that your ancestors came from, don't matter what anybody say, because now they're gonna have to prove it. When I bring that lawsuit, you're gonna have to prove that I am not who I say I am. And trust me, like I said, in 2020, y'all gonna be faced with some lawsuits. I know how to find you. Trust me, it's easy to find, IP addresses. All you need is a good tech man. Trust me, and it's easy to find. So y'all better chill. Chill with the disrespect, man. If we're supposed to be all aboriginals, why can't we come together and work together? You feel me? We have to come together. If we are all saying that we are all American aboriginals, then why the divide? Why? Obviously, people are hating. They're hating for no reason. Why? That's just all I'm saying. If we all saying we are this, then what's the problem? So that's why I tell people, man, you shall know a tree. You feel me? You shall know a tree by the fruit it produces. Because they're going to tell you exactly who they are. They are the ones out there spreading rumors and propaganda and slandering people. They are the ones out there causing all this chaos. That's how you're going to know them. You feel me? So at the end of the day, man, that's how we have to do. Like family, I keep telling you, a lot of our people were taken out of here. Remember? For 250 years before the British came here, before the so-called Atlantic slave trade, they were already taking American Indians and taking them to Africa, Britain, Europe, all over the world. Even in Asia, they were taking American Indians. A lot of y'all don't know what our ancestors went through, man. That's why this is personal to me. Okay? It's personal to me. I know. One day I sat down in my kitchen in Brooklyn, meditating, and my ancestors showed me, man, listen, a vivid vision of what they went through and what they was going through. Even before I did my private DNA test. And I keep telling people, no, man, this is who we are. They thought I was crazy. But I had to go do my private DNA test to validate that. 23andMe, they'll put you in Africa. Okay, but like I said, when they tell you sub-Sahara, know what it means. Sub means beneath, it means under. Sahara means desert. How could you be from under the desert? You see what I'm saying? They're telling you it is, man, listen, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to block you, fam. I'm speaking of passion. What are you talking about attitude, man? Like, y'all just come, you know what? I'm going to just block you off, son, because y'all always come in and on people's platform just to be, just to be instigators. You see what I'm saying? I'm here speaking to my people with passion. You talking about attitude. Like, what's wrong with y'all, man? That's why sometimes I tell people, man, people don't realize the position like people like me are in, because I have to deal with all this and still be able to stay focused and balanced to give the information. I'm excited. I'm hyped. You know what I mean? I have passion in me. I'm talking to that's how we talk. Come on, man. Like, seriously. You hear rappers, talking about killing and blowing people's heads off, and you get all excited and you don't tell them to stop the aggression. But here I am with the passion and the fire, because I'm excited to bring information to my people. You're telling me stop with the attitude. Who said it was an attitude? Come on, man. Like I said, you know what? Let me just conclude this live, man. Now I already blocked whoever it was, man. I already blocked them. I already blocked them. Because like I said, I really ain't got the time for that. That's why I only want to mess with people, man, that want to do the right thing, man. You know what I mean? That's it. So at the end of the day, that's just what it is. Some of you are gonna have to do your own research. Like I just put the link for the people's site, Chief Langley's site. go ahead and you know, my email is in the description of the video, but I'll put it in the link. Let me give it to you guys again. There you go. So my email is in the link. You know, like I said, for those of you who want that information, you know, I will email it to you. And please just give me, you know, I get a lot of emails, so at least give me a couple of days, if you know, and I'll get it to you. All right, I promise. You know, if you know, I'm gonna be wealthy physically, so you know, I'm gonna get it to you. Just give me some time because I have a lot of work to do, and I'll definitely get that, you know, to you guys. But it's important, you know, to do your due diligence. You see what I'm saying? And if you're looking for more information that I can't give you, you know what I'm saying? Then there are other resources. I just put the people's website on there. You could check it out and, you know, do your own research. You know, do your all is not lost. All is not lost. You know what I mean? And some of the, great resources I'm talking about from the Howard University tells you that the Negro is only 1/16th of what he have a little bit of African in him. But literally, you know, that how does that change the fact that you're an American Aboriginal? And that is what these natives are doing. They're trying to play with us. But they have to know we coming. You know what I mean? We coming. 2020 is about vision. And you gotta have vision. Martin Luther King came with the dream. Now we coming with the vision. Time to bring this to life. All right? Time to bring this to life. So once again, thank you for you know, it's all good, you know. I'm Kiowanis and you know, my sister Onyx and everybody, man. You know, like I said, my thing is this, man. I just want to come and drop the information. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's what it is. We have to know what transpired in our story. In our story, even before the transatlantic slave trade. All right. Asiatics, you know what I'm saying? Africans, you know, Spanish, whatever you call them, the barbaric slave trade. They were enslaving our ancestors, man. They was enslaving our ancestors. So when they talk about, oh, well, this is the empire of this, no, how it became the empire. You see, y'all ain't telling people the truth. Tell them how did it become the empire? Because y'all enslaved my people. All right? That's why. And then because the game of enslaving American Indians was so popular, all right, what did they do? They started bringing the British. They started bringing the Portuguese. They started bringing the Irish. You know what I mean? They started bringing all these different people to get a piece of the pie. But they had, literally, they had a lock on the game for 250 years, even before the transatlantic slave trade. But they're not talking about that, though. They will never talk about that, because if they talk about that, then you're going to know who truly came here to enslave our people. All right? Y'all got to peep the game. This is deeper than what you think it is, man. It's way deeper than that. All right? Oh, no doubt, Thomas. You know what I mean? That's what we got to do, man. Each and every one of us got to play our part. We got to play our part. And I'm just playing my part, man. So so I appreciate love y'all as well. You know what I mean? So for all you haters, man, when y'all coming, know who y'all coming and talking to. Okay? Show some respect. Because like I said, in 2020, a lot of y'all gonna get a lot of lawsuits. I guarantee you that, for slandering, all right, and defamation of character. That's a felony, all right? And y'all gonna get some lawsuits. I promise you that. So this is a public notice, all right, of cease and desist. You know yourselves. So if you want your emotions and your anger and your hatred and your jealousy and your envy to take over your emotions, then you're going to deal with the consequences. All right? It's that simple. But for all those of you who are here doing the right thing, doing the righteous thing, really doing this with love and appreciation, all right, and wanting to come together genuinely, then that's what I respect. All right? And I want to link with any one of y'all that's on that vibration and on that frequency. All right, because we have to organize. But I don't want these parasites to be a part of anything that I'm a part of. Okay? For real, for real. Oh, no, no doubt, people united. We coming. We coming. All right, we coming. Believe that. This is just separating, the wheat from the chaff. Okay, that's all it is. We have to do that. There got to be a purge. The purge is imminent. We have to do that because we have to know who among us is real. We have to know because there are a lot of people who look like us. They ain't us. They ain't us. They could, so we have to keep that in mind. Okay? Start looking at the fruit that they produce. And when they show you who they are with their mouths, believe them. They're not lying. Leave these people alone. All right? There's a reggae song that said, leave people business alone. Leave people business and mind your own. Leave people business alone. Leave people business alone and mind your own. Mind your own business. You feel me? Y'all always want to be up in people's business. Violating people's privacy, disrespecting. Y'all got to stop that, man. But at the same breath, talking about we all aboriginals. How is that? Nah. I ain't you and you ain't me. Period. All right? Oh, no doubt. That's what it is. When they start, defaming your name and slandering your character, that's what you got to do. File some lawsuits. They think because they hide behind a computer and they don't have like an avatar with their real face and their fake name. They're so dumb. It is easy to trace your IP address. This is the age of information. It is so easy to find out where you are at. But y'all want to be gangsters on the internet disrespecting people. Stop, man. Stop. If we have one common goal to unite, you know what I'm saying? And do something for our people together, then why we gotta be coming at each other like that? Huh? Come on, man. Since I've started this journey, my message has always been the same. I don't hate on people. When anybody come at me, I show the information and I leave it alone. That's it. I don't slander people's names. I don't hate on people. I don't do none of that. Why? For what? Don't we have enough situations to deal with? So why would I spend my time fighting my brother, fighting my sister? Why would I take the time to disrespect them? Why would I want to do that? But then again, that's how you know who's who. So they're out here trying to slander me. You know what I'm saying? Defame my character, sabotage me, but you can't do that. Because you see, real recognize real. Real positive energy recognize real positive energy. So no matter what y'all do, I stay in my lane. You see, I don't come into your lane. I stay in my lane because I'm the driver. You feel me? And once I'm behind that wheel, none of you could affect me because I control my destiny. It's already set. I was the one who wrote my script. So I'm not going to give you my energy. I'm not going to allow you to pull me into your sphere of wickedness and chaos. No, I'm going to stay focused. You feel me? That's it. Period. So, man, listen, when you know you're a deity, man, you have to know who you are. If you don't know that, you have control, and don't allow these parasites to pull you into their world. Once they do that, you give them power. Don't give them the power over you. So they're mad that Chief is not responding. They're mad that Chief is not coming on their platform or calling their numbers to say, oh, well, I want to defend myself. Defend myself from what? To whom? I'm not going to cast my pearls to swine. I'm not going to do that. So that means that you are not on my caliber. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to step to your level. The people that are actually on my caliber right now, they're the people that I'm vibing with right now on that positive frequency. Those are the people that's on the same wavelength with me. They're on the same frequency with me. And that's who I want to vibe with. You dig? That's who I want to vibe with. So I don't recognize y'all energy. You feel me? Y'all don't matter to me. You don't exist. You don't exist. It's only the people that are vibrating on your low frequency, your animalistic ways, that's vibing with you. You see me? So come on, man. Stop. That's all I'm just saying. It's time to grow. It's time to make a change. We have to do things for our children. We have to do things for our elders. We got to do things for ourselves. We got work to do. And on that note, I want to give thanks to my ancestors for always continuing to just instill in me the truth, the light, give me the information so I can enlighten my people. And that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Because we have been persecuted enough. People don't really have a true understanding of how profound our history, our story is in this land. We never came, family. We have always been here. You feel me? From the moment the Great Spirit manifests, we manifest into the flesh. Our ancestors have been on the American, what's called the American continent, this side of the world. Granted, it wasn't always called America. Granted, it wasn't always called Turtle Island. As a matter of fact, it wasn't called anything. We were just being. We were just being. To be in the moment. To be in the present. That's what it was about. You know what I mean? So know that, man, this is us. This is us. And anybody who's trying to take that away from us, they are an enemy of the people. And it's that simple. It's that simple. And I keep telling people, it doesn't mean that I'm hating on Asians. It doesn't mean that I'm hating on Europeans, whether it's the original ones or the new Europeans, because the original European was dark skinned. All right. It doesn't mean that I'm hating on Africans. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that we are a distinct people, and I'm making sure that the world know that we know that, and we have our own identity. All right. Yes, many different cultures and ethnicities got mixed in because they had to come and deal with our women. They had to go into our women to have any type of say on this land. That's why I keep telling our sisters, be careful who you lay with. Okay? Be careful who you lay with. Because you could be in bed with parasites and you don't know where they came from, their gene pool. You don't know where it came from. Their gene pool could be contaminated. You don't know. And that seed is being planted in you. And then you're giving rise to a nation of people who was enemies to our ancestors, man. Y'all don't know how deep and real this is. Y'all think sex is a game and it's a joke. No, it's not. And even more so, you know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about when you have sex, potential to have babies. So now you're bringing bloodlines and a lineage of children into a world with all the confusion of all the DNA mixing and all the gene mixing, creating mutations. Come on. We were not supposed to mix with these people at all. Not Africans, not Asians, and not Europeans. I'm talking about the original ones. We wasn't supposed to mix with them. But we did. So now we're in the position we are today. So that's why everybody's trying to claim a piece of us. Because that happened through the gene mixing, the blood mixing. I'm going to give you a typical example. What happened? All right. When the Moors ruled Spain for 711 years. Okay. What did they do? What did they do? They went and got the women of the pale man and pulled them out and slept with them. And those mulatto children did what? What did the mulatto children? They became subjects of the air. So now there was royalty. There was royalty because you are what your parents are. And that's what they use to defeat the Moors. So when you contaminate your gene pool, anybody who come into your gene pool, they have rights. Legally and lawfully, they have rights. Okay? So that's why you have a lot of these different ethnic groups could come and claim our land or making attempts to claim our land because they mixed in with our women. We are not them. They just came in and mixed in with our women. That's why they call this the melting pot. They put everybody here to contaminate the American Aboriginal. So y'all got to know how deep this is, man. Y'all got to know. So be very mindful who you sleep with, who you have babies with. Anyway, I'm about to conclude this bill. Once again, thank you to all those of you for, just, man, all the positive people out there, man, the righteous people. I thank you for just always, just vibing on that high frequency, man, because in this day and time, it's needed. You know what I mean? And I just saw that, 2 people, supported, my Cash App. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right. Regardless of what people say, what people do, I'm going to continue doing what I do because that's my purpose. That's my passion. Like I tell people today, if this physical man hit the ground right now, my job is done. As long as I've touched one life to put them on the right path of who they are, then my job is done. Now they could pass it on to the children. The children could pass it on to their children. So I'm good. Chief Kalinago could never die because my spirit and the truth that I bring to my people is going to live in them and their children. So y'all cannot destroy me. Y'all cannot kill me. So what's the problem? What's the problem? I come with nothing but love for my people. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. So why y'all trying so hard to discredit me of who I am? When I could verify and validate in a court of law who I am with my DNA and my blood. But you cannot do that. You're just doing it with your words and what somebody told you. Where's the proof at? Where is the proof? I just showed proof. It's in my DNA. So where's your proof? Y'all want to use the excuse, oh, well, they're going to take your DNA and send it here and there. Please, they already got it. Stop using that as an excuse. I got mine. And you know why I'm not too focused on it? Because I'm not a physical man. The body is not me. It's just a host. So physically, I could validate who I am. Physically, I could do that. I'm not worried about, well, they're going to do this and I'm not giving them that power. I have proof, family. Proof of who I am. My DNA, my blood. You see it's in red right here? In red. Meaning that the blood stands for American Indian. So I'm to Uno, man. Here we go again. Direct descendants of the pharaohs. So when you're talking, man, chill. Have some respect. All right? Exactly, man. Yeah, Ken. We don't have nothing to prove nothing to these demons, man. Come on. But anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I may or may not do another bill because I got some information that I got to drop for y'all. So I might do that a little later. It depends on how I feel, right? But I got a few calls to make, got a few things that people I got to connect to. But definitely, you guys got my email. If you need the information for the private DNA test, then I'll send it to you. All right, I'll just send it to you. Again, I'm just showing love, and I really want our people to feel confident as to who they truly are. You see what I'm saying? That's all that I want for you. You know what I mean? Nothing but the best. Nothing but the best for you because we deserve it. We as a people, we deserve it. We have been through too much and we cannot allow 2020 to come. All right? We cannot allow 2020 to come and we are in the same position all through 2020. We got to change some things. We have to. All right? We owe that to ourselves and we owe that to our children. All right? Period. So continue to, like I said, stay positive. All right. Some days may be a little more upbeat than others, but don't let that put you down. You might run into some stumbling blocks. You might run into roadblocks. It's okay. That's part of life. But never give up. We are a resilient people. All right. Our people were so resilient that it doesn't matter what they went through, how much they try to mix our blood and whatever. Guess what? Mine came back pure. You see what I'm saying? So it's in there, man. It's all a vibration thing. You feel me? So they cannot take your blood away from you. They cannot take your DNA away from you. So all this, well, all the American Indians were killed by chicken pox and measles and all that, man. Stop. All right? Stop. You feel it? Stop it. Oh, Andre, now, man, I'm not going to laminate it, family. I just make sure I keep it flat and neat in a file. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna laminate it, because when you laminate a lot of those things, you cannot use it. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with legal situations or lawful situations. So I just, keep it, tight and neat. All right. So that's what I do. Let me see if I can show you guys something real quick. It was damn, I forgot my family name, but if he does see this video, then he'll know that, he kind of brought that to my attention. So give me a second here. Let me see if I can show you guys something. Let me see if I could show y'all something real quick. Da 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 pa 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 pa. Let me see if it says that little switch, perhaps little English, Flemish. All right, there might have been an old, but if snow has not been recorded, and from this being influenced. Okay, so let me just show you guys this, because like I told y'all before, right? When you are reading information, especially what they call history books and prehistoric books, you have to go in the mindset of the author, and at that time what the word meant. You feel me? Because a lot of times when they speak, the context of the words can change. It depends on the time and the perspective of the writer. So let me share something with you real quick and show you exactly what I mean. So, right, measles, right? Now, didn't, in the history books, what did they say, right? The American Indian was all knocked out and killed, and they became extinct by measles and chicken pox. Chicken pox is the measles, right? By measles, right? Now, let us go look at the etymology of measles. Look at the etymology of measles, all right? Infectious disease causing eruptions of rose-colored papules, early 14th century, all right? But however, let's go here. It says what? There might have been an Old English cognate, but if so, it has not been recorded. The phonetic development is irregular, and the form might have been influenced by the Middle English. Middle English. Do you know what around the Middle English was around the 1100, late 1100? So at that time, measles meant what? Leprosy, a leper. All right, even up to the 13th to absolute, it became absolute in the 16th century. Well, let's put two and two together. Even in the allegorical Bible, when they speak of leprosy, right, it means that the skin turned white. So when they tell you that, again, the indigenous American Indians were extinct by measles or through measles, it could say what? It meant that the pale people, the leprosy, the leper came and took our place. So once again, when you are reading, you have to put yourself in the time frame of the writer, the mindset of the writer. What was he thinking? What is he trying to hide? But telling the truth at the same time. Okay, so measles, when they say that the American Indians were knocked out by measles, now I'm not saying this is a fact, but I'm telling you, when you read with conductive reasoning, put yourself in that era. What does it mean? Because how are you going to tell me, we know we are the original American Indians, how could we all have been knocked out by the measles, but the same thing, the Africans came and it didn't bother them? Or the European, the new version of European, who is actually recessive, didn't get killed by this same measles, but we did. So it just doesn't add up. Logically, it makes no sense. So when you look at the etymology of measles, when you really look at it, what are they saying subliminally? Leprosy, people of that white skin. Okay, the original American Indians was what became extinct because of them. All right, so I'm just giving you guys different perspectives to open up your mind, because your mind is limitless. Stop subjecting yourself to the notion that you could only use 10% of your brain. That's a programming. I don't subscribe to that. My mind is limitless. That's why I'm able to go into the source, into intelligence, and pull things out. You feel me? And I'm going to do a video on that and break that down to you guys. All right? But I just wanted to share a bit of information with y'all. All right? For real, for real, for real. All right? When you say what's the procedure called for the DNA, well, like I said, for all those of you who want the information for the private DNA test, all right, I already sent my email in the chat. It's also below the video. Just send me an email and I promise I'll send it to you. Okay, like I said, just give me some time, all right, to get that to you. So I just wanted to, share some information with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. All right, so we'll talk a little later. Enjoy the rest of your day. I just want to give a shout out to again, all our brothers and sisters. Let me give a shout out to you know what? Let me just share this real quick. www. We always gotta make sure we support our own. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm about. Building our own, supporting our people. You feel me? So here we go. Let me just conclude this build. Let me conclude this build and just share this with you one more time. Okay, and here we go. Originaltribalwear.com. Our sister Mohawk, she's in California doing some great things, clothing for our people. So here we go. Okay, men and women fashion, tribal wear, apparel. The website is www.originaltribalwear.com. Please check it out. Okay, you got beautiful hoodies and sweatshirts. All right, you have the pendants. I love this right here, man. I just love it. Says Ani and Wea. All right, you have this. I think it's original to the soil, something like that. Okay, so check out all these pictures right there. So go ahead and support. I will definitely take the link for the website and put it in the chat. You got the hats, you know what I mean? So here we are. Okay, support our own, man. Support our own. All right. If we're gonna give it to other people, we might as well just give it to our own people. All right. So here we go. www.originaltribalwear.com. Let me put that link here for you. Okay. So you can have it. All right. There we go. All right, fam. So enjoy the rest of your day. And for those of you who send me the emails, I promise I will, return your email and send you that information. All right. So peace and love. Enjoy the rest of your continuation.